Good morning. I'm recording this on Sunday morning, July 13th, and we're going to do a recap of what was discussed in the program on Friday, July 11th. In Safari, you can see in the top left-hand corner, I'm in Safari. I think you can see it. And I have a little circle on my mouse pointer for easy viewing where I am. I have a tab here, and this is my home page. It's called the Start page. It's something you would set up in Preferences. And you can see I have sorted manually all these alphabetical bookmarks. These are the same bookmarks you would see across the top. Amazon, Bing, Claude. I mentioned Claude on Friday. That's one of our AI tools. This is the Apple website. You can see the same thing down here. So these are websites I frequently go to. All right, take a look here. So now I'm in my start page right here, and I can simply click on this one called Claude. And up at the top, you could type in claude.com, Claude.com. When I click on Claude, it's going to launch the website, and it knows who I am because who I am. I already logged in earlier. So it says, "Good morning, my name." And the cursor's blinking in a little text box waiting for me to put in some information. Now, the first time you launch Claude, as was witnessed in class on Friday, it'll prompt you for various points of interest you might be like to learn. Business, hobbies, maybe travel. I don't really remember all of those categories, but nonetheless, you will be prompted. And it's just nice to know it's not going to do anything. It's not going to change your life. It's not going to show you anything that I know of, but nonetheless, that's what it's going to do. One key thing I mentioned to you is when you start a chat and you're going to be able to talk to Claude. For example, I'll ask, who is playing in the tennis match today? And we'll see how it responds. In London. Spelling does count to some degree. And let's see what it says. You don't need a question mark, by the way. So it's searching God knows how many databases. And there it is. It's responding, looking. There you go. Wimbledon. Obviously, I'm not going to read this to you, but it gave me my answer. And it says as a disclaimer, it can make mistakes. Please double check. Anything can make a mistake. You have to fact check. Here's a link right to the website. Well, look at that. Most of your links, in most cases, I should say, will take you to Wikipedia. So there's a link right in your answer where you can just point to it, click on it, and there it is. I have this right here, right now. And while we're here, let me add some confusion to this. You're looking at this web page, which has a lot of stuff on it. Not too bad. A couple graphics, some quick summaries, a lot of stuff down here. Watch what you can do in Safari. When you're in your browser, you can go up to the top, and there's this little icon. It looks like a computer terminal with a couple lines underneath it. Watch what happens when I point to it and click. Show reader. That's nice to see, but this is the one I want to just blow your mind with. Hide distracting items. We did this Friday. It says there's only 2 of them. Maybe. Let's see what happens. When I tap it, my mouse pointer will highlight various items on the page with a blue rectangle. And when I click on it, goodbye. Look at that. Goodbye. Be careful where you click. Goodbye. You got the idea? Magical, huh? Just like that. And when you're done, click on done. And there is a good way of printing, as someone mentioned in the workshop on Friday, a good way to remove information not relevant to what you're about to print. But maybe here's something else. Maybe you're in a rush. You want to keep this page, but you want to read about it. Well, what you can do also, and this was not mentioned on Friday, so pay attention. I come back here. I go back to that little terminal with the lines. I tap, and I can now show those hidden items just to make it look like the way it was. Are you sure? Yes, I am. Back to normal. That's part 2 of that little tool. Now here's the main thing. If I come up here to that same icon and I tap, show reader. Watch what this does. You didn't see this Friday. Tap. What distractions? There aren't any. You notice it's a black background with white text? Maybe you don't like that. Well, let's change that. Go up to that little tool up there and change the background. My goodness. Yeah, this is Safari, not Chrome, not Firefox. Safari. It's all part of the world of Apple. There you go. Hide the reader? Sure, turn it off. I want to see the reader one more time. Tap, show the reader, go back up, tap, change the color, change the font, start reading. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah, that's Safari. Let's go back to Claude. I'm going to open up a new tab. Remember, it can be Command T or over here in the corner, a little plus sign. I tap. There's my home page. I have Claude right here. I could type it. Why bother? I made it a favorite, and that's CLAUDE. I'll do it. CLAUDE.ai. I'm going to put in com. That's what I said. Let's see where it takes me with Claude.com. It does a redirect. You can see right up there, it's a redirect. And here I am. This was the last thing I did. It keeps track of your chats if you want them to. If you don't, point to the dots, tap, delete. Are you sure? Of course I am. A new chat. Tap it. Nothing changed. You always want to start asking a question at a new chat window. Why? Because you can keep track of things you've looked up before. In class, you might remember we did a question to Claude. What is Apple's time machine? What is it? How does it work? It's a way of backing up your data. I'm not going to explain it to you. You can look it up in Claude. And here's something else you can do. Once you get an answer, and let's say this is 6 paragraphs, whatever it really is, as you can see, I then ask a follow-up question. Summarize this for me. You're kidding. It took all those paragraphs, whatever the real number is, and it made it into a summary. And I can add on to that. Let's see. Can you make this a bulleted list? Pretty good typing, huh? You don't need a question mark. Pretty good, huh? Ladies and gentlemen, that is AI. That's one sample of using AI. Ask it any question you want. Earlier last week, give me some tools for making a collage for free. Moving files in Finder, moving them. We were playing Family Feud the other night at the clubhouse, Friday night. I wanted to see if it could have made something for me. Create sample data for a game of Family Feud where questions are a point value total of whatever it is. There are 4 teams playing. It made me a spreadsheet of information. Again, it tells you how to play. Amazing. It did a conversion of currency, Indian currency. What else did I ask? So many things. New York City, learning about architecture in New York City, particular library. Ask it anything you want. That's a brief overview of AI. And Claude is just one of many. What others are there? Well, how did I get these here? I know you had a homepage, right? And you saw that. Well, what are these, Jay? Well, they're pinned. What do you mean they're pinned? If you recall, make this a little bigger. When I have a web page that I'm going to put here maybe CNN. It's the easiest thing to type for me. I have a web page. And whatever it says, I don't care what it says. If you point to the tab where the web page is with your mouse pointer, do a right click, pin tab. When I do that, not yet, it'll make a real tiny little rectangle, or a square, I guess. Watch what happens. And there it is. So I can now close Claude. I can close the thing about Wimbledon. I'm at my home page, and there's CNN. It'll be every time I open in a browser, that will be there. Yes, it's like a bookmark, but it's right in front of you all the time. You don't have to go looking for it. Case in point, I have a Sony camera. I pinned this tutorial. As you can see, it's over 1 hour long. What else could I do? I have more stuff about Apple, 42 actual tips and tricks. I didn't know they existed. It's probably true. What else do I have here? This is my YouTube channel with my family videos. 23, 22, blah, blah, blah. I have hundreds of family videos. We can learn how to do that. This is the biggie. This is the workshop YouTube channel I make for you. There they are. So all we did, oh, by the way, if you don't want to pin something, point to it, right click, unpin. Logical, isn't it? If you don't want the tab, point to the X, close the tab. That's it. Claude is one of many tools. The others I have up here. ChatGPT. It's probably the most famous one. Works the same way. Same idea. When you want to start a chat, tap New Chat. What do you want to learn today? Let's see, what else I want to ask? How do I learn how to use my Mac? Something simple. There you go. Again, I'm not going to read these to you. This is why you use these tools, to learn. Can you create? Of course you can create. Can you make images? Of course you can make images. Create an image. This is Microsoft's Designer. Another AI tool is Gemini. This is from Google, again. And here's something I bring to your attention. Here's the question about Family Feud. Here's something about the architecture in New York. This one came back with images. It asked me a question. Would you like to see some images? So I asked some questions. And it asked me a question if I'd like some feedback. So we're talking. The robot and I, the AI engine is asking me questions. And this was supposed to be a very ugly architectural structure in New York City. So what you want to do is use a tool like Claude, use a tool like ChatGPT, use a tool by Gemini. This is Apple's, actually Google's. Ask it the same question and see the different results you get. And they will be different, guaranteed. Here's another one from X, formerly known as Twitter. This is Gronk. Very different, very different. They all have that history. So they all have the same look and feel, different cosmetics, of course. So you pick and choose. That's pretty much it. That's AI on a high level. Have fun with it. Learn a lot. By the way, if you don't see this, you have a little collapsible navigation bar up at the top there. I believe they all have them. Let's check up here. Yep, they do. A little different cosmetic. There it is. And one more, Gemini. Yep, same thing. They must have gone to the same programming class. That's it, folks. Hope you enjoyed the presentation. If you were there, a review. If you weren't there, something new. See you Friday. Bye-bye.